Pangea is really a global story, and it's a global story about the rise of co-ops among quality publishers around the world. So in the case of Pangea, this was really led by The Guardian and an executive there, Tim Gentry. And he went to some other quality publishers around the world, CNN, Reuters, and the Financial Times. And with those media owners, you have a situation where a lot of their footprint is a global one. It's going to be outside of their home countries. So it makes a lot of sense for them to federate and come together and address some of those advertising business they can pull in on a global basis as a cooperative. What Pangea is trying to address is some of the scale needs, and there's always been that trade-off between scale and quality, and kind of can you have both? And by coming together, this group of media owners has created a global footprint of 110 million monthly uniques. That's pretty significant in an environment that really denotes quality, and an environment that they've created where an advertiser can come in and take a single program and launch it seamlessly across those properties. So that's really what they're after. The phenomena of the co-op is something we've seen quite a bit of, and you can see Laplace in France, the Czech Publisher Exchange in the Czech Republic, the Danish Publisher Network in Denmark. And what these are federations of some of the top publishers in each of those markets coming together to make sure that one of the opportunities they can present to advertisers is a scaled one, but a scaled one adjacent to quality. Because one of the things that those media owners are seeing is the Googles and the Facebooks of the world going into those markets and with the ability to provide that sort of scale. And by coming together in these cooperative arrangements, they can do the same sort of thing with that quality and having the kind of market knowledge and the consumer kind of knowing those brands in those markets. There absolutely is a trend in terms of what's happening with trading desks and automation generally across the holding companies. And what you're seeing is automation and the consideration of automation and its benefits be more deeply integrated into the holding company. So not just in buying execution, but in strategy and in planning before you get to buying. And we actually believe a lot of the headlines get it wrong. A lot of the headlines say the trading desk is dead. And in fact, it's more alive than ever because of what we're speaking about, because of that deeper integration, right? So if you look in the headlines around Viveki, and Publicis are a great example, is by embedding and pushing that deep into the operating agency, you're going to see higher and higher adoption of automation, right? Because automation and the people that understand it are now at the table when strategy is laid out and when planning is laid out. And of course, those are the folks too that are talking to the customer, that are talking to the advertiser. So it should be a great development for automation in general. One of the big things we're seeing at Rubicon Project is a big push in our orders area. We went out and bought two companies recently, iSocket and Shiny Ads. And that's really a double down in that orders area, that market that sits above the auction, and is really about the one-to-one relationship between buyer and seller and the negotiated trading agreement, really the essence of advertising in many ways, and how to enable that to drive efficiency through workflow, but also take that programmatic element, the data element, but on a one-to-one context and with first-party data and things like that to drive the overall effectiveness of advertising. So exciting times.